Okay, circle up folks, and let's talk about changes to the syllabus. Everything I say in this video message is in a new revised syllabus that's been posted to Moodle. And at the end of this message, I'm going to ask you to go to Moodle and look at that syllabus and read it. So you don't have to watch this video again. You can just read all the changes in the new syllabus. Well, what are we keeping? What are we dropping? And what are we adding? We're keeping film guides and films. We're keeping the readings in Zen and Lepore and the weekly quizzes. We're dropping History Gym workouts. Starting with the Cold War unit, you're not going to be doing any of those, including the 2 essays that used to be a pretty big part of the course. What we're adding instead is an activity that used to be a bonus activity for extra points. It's called Historians at Work. And we're adding a final assignment, which I've creatively called the final assignment. It's worth 2,000 points, and it will assess your competencies on all the major learning objectives of the course. So, more on all of these things. Let's go down to look at the schedule and see how the course is going to work going forward. We were studying the Cold War when class was interrupted by COVID-19. We're just going to stop where we were and put a pin in it and not finish that Cold War unit. That way we can finish the course with all the units that were regularly scheduled, beginning in week 8 with a module called America in the 1950s. After that, we'll proceed to the Black Freedom Struggle in week 9, the Vietnam War in week 10, the long 60s in week 11, and it will spill over into week 12. And then the last 2.5 weeks of the course are reserved for your work on the final assignment. What the weeks will look like is this. Monday morning, I'll send you a video announcement with some observations about the week's work and topic. It won't be a lecture. That's something we're dropping from the courses. Any lectures from me. Instead, we're doubling down on the 2 historians, Howard Zen and Jill Lepore. But to get ready to read their books, you'll watch a film and complete a film guide. Here's a change. Instead of bringing the film guide to class, which you can't do anymore, you're going to upload it to Moodle, where I'll make comments on it and assign you points. After you've done your film guide, you'll read in Zen and Lepore scheduled readings. And you'll be in study groups of 4 people. And the point of the study groups is to use a Google Doc to collectively take notes on the readings. You'll be talking to each other about what you think the main point is, and this will give you a chance to get ready for the quiz. So how are the quizzes going to work? You can't come to class to take them, so I will arrange it on Moodle for a quiz to open every Friday at noon on that week's readings. The quiz can be taken from Friday noon until Sunday at midnight. When you click on the link in Moodle and open the quiz, you'll have 5 minutes to take the 2-question multiple choice quiz, just like in class. And just like in class, you had about 5 minutes. That won't change. You'll get immediate feedback from Moodle on how well you did on the quiz, and I'll record the grades just like I always did on the Google Docs Excel spreadsheet where the class points are accumulated. That's how the week's going to work. In week 9, you'll go to a new film and a new set of readings in Lepore and Zen. Now, here's a wrinkle. Instead of history gems, you're going to be doing something called Historians at Work. And you won't necessarily be doing that on a weekly basis. You could turn in a Historian at Work assignment anytime you want to between week 8 and week 12. No, week 13. The deadline for Historian at Work submissions is Friday noon of week 13. What are these Historians at Work assignments? Well, it's explained in the syllabus. There will be 7 of them. These assignments ask you to notice in Zen and Lepore how they're applying the historical thinking heuristics that I have said indicate how historians do their work. So, the first one asks you to submit an example of either one of the historians, Zen or Lepore, asking a historical question. I've posted to Moodle an example of what I'm looking for. It comes from Jennifer Mangers, who already did one of these as a bonus activity earlier in the term. It's a wonderful example of how to do a Historians at Work assignment, so go and look at that. But you can't use the same question that she found in Howard Zinn. You got to go find your own question. The second one asks you to show an example of Zinn or Lepore making a connection, such as one of these kinds of connections. The third one, sourcing. The fourth one, making an argument. The fifth one, using evidence. The sixth one, considering multiple perspectives. And the seventh one, recognizing that there are limits to what can be known. Give me an example of one or the other of these historians doing these things. Comment on the example, show how they're applying the heuristic, and give a page number. That's what this will look like. And each one of these 7 Historians at Work assignments will earn you 200 points. Again, you can do those at your own pace. You can use your Google Docs study groups to sort of trade ideas about these and bounce ideas off of each other. I want you to do your own work though. So when you turn in an assignment, it shouldn't be an exact word for word something that you worked up on Google Docs with your study team. It should be in your own words, your own work. But I don't mind you bouncing ideas off each other and checking your thinking. Now, that final assignment is something you're going to be preparing for every week of the course. In fact, you've been preparing for it since day 1 of the course back in January. I haven't always ended the course with debates the way I do now. I used to give this final assignment as the last activity of History 131 or 132 back then. So I'm pretty used to giving this assignment. I'm pretty sure how it's going to work. Some good news for you is scores by students on this kind of assignment have tended to be pretty good. Well, what's it about? An entire page of the syllabus is now about the final assignment, and you can go look at it there. I give you a scenario where you're an intern working for the National Council of History Education. They're going to set up a reading group for Americans, it's kind of like Oprah's book club, where Americans read a history. And they've narrowed it down to 2 choices, either Howard Zinn's A People's History of the U.S. or Jill Lepore's These Truths. And they want you interns to give them a recommendation on which history to pick. You're to write a memo of 5 to 7 pages outlining which of these 2 books you think is the better history. If you can do that, it will show me how well or how much progress you've made toward realizing the objectives of this course. I'll say much more about this final assignment as we get closer to week number 12. You'll complete it in 2 stages. You'll do a rough draft that's due Sunday night, May the 3rd. I'll turn around some comments to you on how to elevate your game on the future draft that week during week 13. And you'll have about 10 days to complete a final draft of this final assignment by Friday of the last week in the term. This final assignment is worth 2,000 points. It's very important, and you're going to want to give it your best work. The only other thing to talk about is the unfinal exam, which will happen during exam week. I call it the unfinal exam because it's not really about you. It's more about me. So if you do a good faith effort on this assignment, and it will take you only about 30 minutes to do, you'll get the full 600 points. Everybody who works on it's going to get 600 points. I'm not so much testing you as I'm testing me and this course's ability to help you fulfill the learning objectives that I set out in the syllabus. And I use this unfinal exam as an assessment on me to find out how well I did. More on that later as we get closer to the time. Alright, let me consult my notes here and see if I've covered everything I wanted to. I think so. You can see here we're keeping it simple. The only technology you need is access to Moodle and to Google Docs. Also, you need access to the books, the simplest technology of all. If you don't have one of the other books, Zinn or Lepore, that's the first thing you need to do on your to-do list is get a hold of one through Amazon, because they're now essential. Alright, the second thing you need to do is make a decision. I'm going to let you decide whether you want to be in a study group or fly solo for the end of the term. And there's at least one reason why some of you might want to fly solo. If you're interested in completing this course at a faster pace than what my schedule sets out, and I think that would be possible for some of you. If you wanted to just breeze through the readings, the quizzes, the film guides, the final assignment, get this done in just a couple of weeks and then walk away, I'll let you do that. You'll have to do that on your own though. If you're thinking, I think I could use the benefit of a group of people to help me get ready for quizzes and do the historians at work assignments and to work on the final assignment, then you want to be in a group. So here's something to put on your to-do list. I need you to tell me as soon as possible whether you want to work alone, at your own pace, or in a group. I'll put you in groups. I'll create a Google Doc for you early next week, and you can get going on taking notes on the very first readings on America in the 50s. So let me know as soon as possible. Do you want to work alone or in groups? Just write me an email to tell me. Another thing on your to-do list, do go and read the syllabus just to clear up any confusion you have from this video message. And if you do have questions, don't email them to me. Do this. Go to our Moodle page. Go to our Moodle page. Let's see if I can bring it up here. You'll see at the top of the page, underneath announcements, that I've created a Moodle forum for our course called History 131 Brew by the Slew. This is a place for you to hang out and to post things that you come across that are funny and you want to share with other people. Also to ask questions of one another or of me about things that are confusing. And I'd like you to ask any question you have about how we're doing this course going forward here in Brew by the Slew so that everybody can get the benefit of the answer. I guess that's it. So I will sign off by reminding you that we're going to do this in a circle with courage, with realism, with compassion for each other's situations, and with the love of learning that brought us to college in the first place. So, see you later.